Hello and welcome to Go USA. My name is Christian Brito. In this video, we're going to be going over the 128 question. Yes, the new version of the civics portion of your citizenship test. 128 questions instead of the previous 100 questions. This is the test bank that will be used starting on October 20th, 2025 application date. So if you apply on or after October 20th, 2025 for your civics test, for your citizenship test, for your N400, this is the version of the test that you will get. 128 questions. It will be 20 questions will be presented to you orally. You must get at least 12 of those questions correctly to pass. Now, in this video, we're going to go through all 128 possible questions. Some of them are the ones that were used before. Some of them are new. It's a little bit mixed up. And the good portion is just because it's new doesn't mean that it's not something that you can pass. So we're going to go through all of it. I'm going to give you the easy answer for you to remember so that you can pass your test. I'm going to repeat the question twice, and I'm going to give you some time to answer each one. So without any further ado, let's get started. What is the form of government of the United States? What is the form of government of the United States? Republic. What is the supreme law of the land? What is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. Name one thing the Constitution does. Name one thing the Constitution does. Forms the government. The U.S. Constitution starts with the words, "We the people." What does this mean? The U.S. Constitution starts with the words, "We the people." What does this mean? Self-government. How are changes made to the Constitution? How are changes made to the U.S. Constitution? Amendments. What does the Bill of Rights protect? What does the Bill of Rights protect? Basic rights of Americans. How many amendments does the U.S. Constitution have? How many amendments does the U.S. Constitution have? 27. Why is the Declaration of Independence important? Why is the Declaration of Independence important? It declared independence from Britain. It declared independence from Britain. What founding document said the American colonies were free from Britain? What founding document said the American colonies were free from Britain? That is the Declaration of Independence. That is the Declaration of Independence. Name two important ideas from the Declaration and the Constitution. Name two important ideas from the Declaration and the Constitution. Equality and liberty. The words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are in what founding document? The words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are in what founding document? That is the Declaration of Independence. What is the economic system of the United States? What is the economic system of the United States? That is capitalism. What is the rule of law? What is the rule of law? No one is above the law. Name one document that influenced the U.S. Constitution. Name one document that influenced the U.S. Constitution. That could be the Magna Carta. There are three branches of government. Why? There are three branches of government. Why? So one part does not become too powerful. Name the three branches of government. Name the three branches of government. The legislative, executive, and judicial branches. The President of the United States is in charge of which branch of government? The President of the United States is in charge of which branch of government? Give you a moment. Let me know what you think. And that would be the executive branch. What part of the federal government writes laws? What part of the federal government writes laws? That would be Congress. What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress? What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress? That is the Senate and House of Representatives. Name one power of the U.S. Congress. Name one power of the U.S. Congress. That is to write laws. How many U.S. senators are there? How many U.S. senators are there? There are 100 U.S. senators. How long is a term for a U.S. senator? How long is a term for a U.S. senator? That is 6 years. Who is one of your state's U.S. senators now? So for this question, if you're watching from a specific state like Florida, for example, your answer is going to be different than someone else. So for this question, this is going to vary based on your individual state. I can't give you the answer for every single one because it's not going to pertain for you. So this is a moment to pause here if you're studying and go ahead and look up who is the senators for your state. You need to remember at least one of them for the test. All right? So who is one of your state's U.S. senators? We'll move on here and put answers will vary. So make sure that you memorize your specific answer. How many voting members are in the House of Representatives? How many voting members are in the House of Representatives? That is 435. 435. How long is a term for a member of the House of Representatives? How long is a term for a member of the House of Representatives? That is 2 years. Why do U.S. representatives serve shorter terms than U.S. senators? Why do U.S. representatives serve shorter terms than U.S. senators? To follow public opinion. How many senators does each state have? How many senators does each state have? That is 2 senators per state. Why does each state have 2 senators? Why does each state have 2 senators? Equal representation. Name your U.S. representative. Now, this is another question that the answers will vary based on your state. So name a U.S. representative for your state. So if you're listening to this and you're watching and studying from California, you're going to have a different answer than from Texas, than from Alabama. So make sure you remember for your state who is one of your U.S. representatives. Answers will vary. What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now? What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now? His name is Mike Johnson. Who does a U.S. Senator represent? Who does a U.S. Senator represent? All people of the state. They represent all people of the state. Who elects U.S. Senators? Who elects U.S. Senators? Citizens of their state. Citizens of their state elect U.S. Senators. Who does a member of the House represent? Who does a member of the House represent? People in their district. Who elects members of the House? Who elects members of the House? Citizens of their district. Some states have more representatives than others. Why? Some states have more representatives than others. Why? Because they have more people. States that have more people will have more representatives. The President of the United States is elected for how many years? The President of the United States is elected for how many years? 4 years. The President can serve only 2 terms. Why? The President can serve only 2 terms. Why? Because of the 22nd Amendment. What is the name of the President of the United States now? What is the name of the President of the United States now? That is Donald Trump. What is the name of the Vice President of the United States now? What is the name of the Vice President of the United States now? That is J.D. Vance. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? That would be the vice president. Name one power of the president. Name one power of the president. Signs bills into law. Who is Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. military? Who is Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. military? That is the President. Who signs bills to become laws? Who signs bills to become laws? That is the President. Who vetoes bills? Who vetoes bills? That is the President. Who appoints federal judges? Who appoints federal judges? That is the President. The executive branch has many parts. Name one. The executive branch has many parts. Name one. The cabinet. What does the president's cabinet do? What does the president's cabinet do? They advise the president. Advises the president. What are two cabinet level positions? What are two cabinet level positions? The Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. Why is the Electoral College important? Why is the Electoral College important? It decides who is elected president. What is one part of the judicial branch? What is one part of the judicial branch? The Supreme Court. What does the judicial branch do? What does the judicial branch do? It reviews laws. What is the highest court in the United States? What is the highest court in the United States? That is the Supreme Court. How many seats are on the Supreme Court? How many seats are on the Supreme Court? 9. How many Supreme Court justices are usually needed to decide a case? How many Supreme Court justices are usually needed to decide a case? 5. How long do Supreme Court justices serve? How long do Supreme Court justices serve? For life. Why do Supreme Court justices serve for life? Why do Supreme Court justices serve for life? To be independent of politics. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? That is John Roberts. Name one power that is only for the federal government. Name one power that is only for the federal government. To print money. Only the federal government can print money. Name one power that is only for the states. Name one power that is only for the states. Provide schooling and education. What is the purpose of the 10th Amendment? What is the purpose of the 10th Amendment? Powers not given to the federal government belong to the states or people. Who is the governor of your state now? This is another question. It's the third one that is going to be kind of a self-study, self-answer question because it's going to depend on where you are at. So if you're taking this test from Arizona, it's going to be different than my residents of Illinois. So go ahead and find out who the governor of your state is if you don't know it already, and make sure you write that down as the answer for this question. So who is the answer for who is the governor of your state now? Answers are going to vary depending on where you are at. What is the capital of your state? Again, if you are Yeah, listening from Alaska, you're going to have a different answer than from Virginia. So, what is the capital of your state? Go ahead and comment that in the comment section below where you're watching from and what the capital of your state is. Answers will vary. There are four amendments about who can vote. Describe one. There are four amendments about who can vote. Describe one. Citizens 18 and older can vote. Who can vote in federal elections, run for federal office, and serve on a jury in the United States? Who can vote in federal elections, run for federal office, and serve on a jury in the United States? U.S. citizens can do those things. What are three rights of everyone living in the United States? What are three rights of everyone living in the United States? Freedom of speech, religion, and assembly. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? The United States. Name two promises that new citizens make in the Oath of Allegiance. Name two promises that new citizens make in the Oath of Allegiance. Those would be to obey the laws and to be loyal to the U.S. How can people become United States citizens? How can people become United States citizens? Be born in the U.S. or naturalize. What are two examples of civic participation in the United States? What are two examples of civic participation in the United States? Vote and run for office. What is one way Americans can serve their country? What is one way Americans can serve their country? They can vote. Why is it important to pay federal taxes? Why is it important to pay federal taxes? It's required by law. Why must men age 18 to 25 register for selective service? Why must men age 18 to 25 register for selective service? To make the draft fair. The colonists came to America for many reasons. Name one. The colonists came to America for many reasons. Name one. Freedom. Who lived in America before the Europeans arrived? Who lived in America before the Europeans arrived? American Indians. What group of people was taken and sold as slaves? What group of people was taken and sold as slaves? Africans. What war did the Americans fight to win independence from Britain? What war did the Americans fight to win independence from Britain? That is the Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War. Name one reason Americans declared independence from Britain. Name one reason Americans declared independence from Britain. High taxes. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? That was July 4th, 1776. July 4th, 1776. Name one event of the American Revolution. Name one event of the American Revolution. The Battle of Yorktown is one event. You can remember the Battle of Yorktown. There were 13 original states. Name 5. There were 13 original states. Name 5. New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Massachusetts, and Georgia are 5 that you can remember. New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Massachusetts, and Georgia. What founding document was written in 1787? What founding document was written in 1787? That would be the Constitution. The Federalist Papers supported the Constitution. Name one writer. The Federalist Papers supported the Constitution. Name one writer. James Madison. Why were the Federalist Papers important? Why were the Federalist Papers important? They supported passing the Constitution. Benjamin Franklin is famous for many things. Name one. Benjamin Franklin is famous for many things. Name one. First Postmaster General. George Washington is famous for many things. Name one. George Washington is famous for many things. Name one. The first U.S. president. Thomas Jefferson is famous for many things. Name one. Thomas Jefferson is famous for many things. Name one. He's the third U.S. president. James Madison is famous for many things. Name one. James Madison is famous for many things. Name one. He is the fourth U.S. president. Alexander Hamilton is famous for many things. Name one. Alexander Hamilton is famous for many things. Name one. First Secretary of the Treasury. First Secretary of the Treasury. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? That is the Louisiana Territory. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. That could be the Civil War. The Civil War. Name the U.S. war between the North and South. Name the U.S. war between the North and South. The Civil War. Name one event of the Civil War. Name one event of the Civil War. The Battle of Gettysburg. Abraham Lincoln is famous for many things. Name one. Abraham Lincoln is famous for many things. Name one. He freed the slaves. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? It freed the slaves. What U.S. war ended slavery? What U.S. war ended slavery? The Civil War. What amendment says all persons born in the U.S. are citizens? What amendment says all persons born in the U.S. are citizens? That is the 14th Amendment. When did all men get the right to vote? When did all men get the right to vote? In 1870. 1870. Name one leader of the women's rights movement in the 1800s. Name one leader of the women's rights movement in the 1800s. Susan B. Anthony. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. World War II. Why did the U.S. enter World War I? Why did the U.S. enter World War I? German attacks on U.S. ships. When did women get the right to vote? When did women get the right to vote? In 1920. What was the Great Depression? What was the Great Depression? The longest economic recession in modern history. I'll repeat that because that answer is a little longer. The longest economic recession in modern history. When did the Great Depression start? When did the Great Depression start? 1929. Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? That was Franklin Roosevelt. Why did the U.S. enter World War II? Why did the U.S. enter World War II? The Pearl Harbor attack. Dwight Eisenhower is famous for many things. Name one. Dwight Eisenhower is famous for many things. Name one. He was the 34th president. Who was the U.S. main rival during the Cold War? Who was the U.S.'s main rival during the Cold War? That was the Soviet Union. During the Cold War, what was one main concern of the United States? During the Cold War, what was one main concern of the United States? Communism. Why did the US enter the Korean War? Why did the US enter the Korean War? To stop communism. Why did the US enter the Vietnam War? Why did the US enter the Vietnam War? To stop communism. Why? What did the civil rights movement do? What did the civil rights movement do? Ended racial discrimination. Martin Luther King Jr. is famous for many things. Name one. Martin Luther King Jr. is famous for many things. Name one. He fought for civil rights. Why did the US enter the Persian Gulf War? Why did the US enter the Persian Gulf War? To force Iraq out of Kuwait. What major event happened on September 11th, 2001? What major event happened on September 11th, 2001? Terrorist attacks. Name one U.S. military conflict after 9/11. Name one U.S. military conflict after 9/11. The war in Afghanistan. Name one American Indian tribe in the U.S. Name one American Indian tribe in the U.S. Cherokee. Name one example of an American innovation. Name one example of an American innovation. The airplane. What is the capital of the United States? What is the capital of the United States? Washington, D.C. Where is the Statue of Liberty? Where is the Statue of Liberty? In New York Harbor. Why does the flag have 13 stripes? Why does the flag have 13 stripes? For the original 13 colonies. Why does the flag have 50 stars? Why does the flag have 50 stars? For the 50 states. What is the name of the national anthem? What is the name of the national anthem? The Star-Spangled Banner. The nation's first motto was E Pluribus Unum. What does that mean? The nation's first motto was E Pluribus Unum. What does that mean? Out of many, one. What is Independence Day? What is Independence Day? It is the celebration of independence from Britain. Name three national U.S. holidays. Name three national U.S. holidays. You could say Thanksgiving, Independence Day, and Christmas Day. What is Memorial Day? What is Memorial Day? Is the day that honors soldiers who died in service. What is Veterans Day? What is Veterans Day? It honors all who served in the military. All right, so we have reached the end of our 128 questions. We repeated all those questions twice. Hopefully, that has helped you be able to study and prepare for this new format of the test. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer as many of them as I possibly can. Um, and if you haven't already and you like this content, make sure that you like this video and subscribe for future videos, as I also have other study formats and tools that you can use on this page to help you pass and become a U.S. citizen. Thank you so much for watching, and happy studying.